Hey, hey, how y'all doing tonight? Just getting home not too long ago, about to open up with Miss Lockhart. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm wonderful. I hope this isn't a what is that, echo?
I don't have no echo.
Okay, great, great.
How you doing tonight?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. Like I said, I just here. I mean, I said let me see what you got going on. Um, have you been I know you've been kind of busy, and you've been putting out some good information.
Thank you.
Who were you talking about yesterday? You're talking about the patent on artificial intelligence. I think this morning it was like it was some Chinese. Uh, Forget exact. I know what it is, but I just can't remember the whole details of it.
No, no, no. Yeah, no, we were looking totally at what's going on right now. As far as the artificial intelligence, I think it's really important for people to understand exactly how far AI is going right now, because I think we're so distracted by everything else going on in the world that we're not really looking at some of the changes that are going to change us and our future. And AI is one of those things.
Yes, it is. It definitely is. And I'm just trying to find out how do we not know this stuff? Like, what's going on with us?
Well, I think we don't know it because we're busy living our lives. And then the only things that we really are focusing on or dealing with are the things that are brought to our attention. And unfortunately, some of the things that are brought to our attention are worthless bits of information that are like dangling carrots. Hey, go over here and grab this bit of information or grab that. And you will not focus on what's really going on. For example, I truly believe that the whole Mar-a-Lago thing is nothing but a distraction. Even the way that the former president's conversation was structured when he gave his quote to the newspaper, I feel like right now for us, that's the last thing that we need to be looking at is what he's got going on. He's really a part of the party. He really is a part of the plan, and that's just my impression. He really is.
Well, let me bring something up about that. Come to think about it, since you brought it up, because I am going to bring that up actually. Now, I did look at this in one or two ways, though. I looked at this as kind of like somewhat a distraction, but also a distraction that is part of a reality, as I would say. And what I mean by that, like, if you realized what happened last week, Alex Jones, then him, then, well, no, Alex Jones, then they passed the bill in the Senate where they said they're going to hire 87,000 IRS agents, right? Then this, right? I mean, matter of fact, before that, there was a guy from the African Socialist Party down there in St. Louis house. They raided at 5 o'clock in the morning, too. So what I'm saying is, in a context, distraction, but a part of reality of showing you that we can do this to him, we can do this to you, we can get 87,000 plus IRS agents, and we can say we're going to attack um, those people who've been committing pandemic fraud. Well, hey, look, you got a lot of Fortune 500 companies, right? But you can have one man do an audit. So you got 87,000 plus. I'd say you plan to hire. Who do you think you're going after? You're going after people making under 75,000 or less, and find out where y'all getting this money from. They definitely every time they say we're going after the big companies, you funded by big companies. So how are you going after some big companies?
And then not only that, and I shouldn't say not only that, I should say in tandem with that, because those are excellent points. I think one of the other important points to note is that there were Fortune 500 companies, including major, ball clubs that were taking part in pandemic money that really did not even, financially need to. There were large restaurant chains and things of that nature taking funding. No, who they're looking for are the people who thought they got away, unfortunately, with being lured in to these PPP loans. And now they know that they can't afford to pay it back for those who do have to pay it back. And then another part of that that's really, really vital is the part that says you never had a business, you never had any employees. And the PPE was to keep the business afloat and to keep the business going and to keep the people employed. You never had that. Now, it's not to say that there were not companies that could have, just one person working, just be self employed. I get that. But these folks have been hired so that they are now able to mobilize and go after the regular cat. Like you said, the $70,000 people a year and less. And it's really heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. So hopefully people will get their chunkles about them and just going ahead and, if I were some folks, I'd probably just go to the IRS first and say, hey, can you relook at this for me? Can I make a payment plan with you? Because they're really trying to what they're trying to do is recoup everything that they gave during the pandemic from the little man.
Yeah. And I thought about this. This is a way to clear. It's kind of like clearing the books. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we gave all this money. We didn't know where it was going, but now it's our time to audit, find out what's going. We had a woman there in Richmond. I think she got caught in $1 million thing. So when Joe Biden said that State of the Union, you sit right there and heard him. When he sat there and said, he said that we're gonna get all you tricksters who've been robbing, taking money from the poor. Meanwhile, those are the people that get locked up, people that you and I might know or got in some trouble behind.
Well, I feel like he said here's let's talk about him and let's just sort of table the other conversation for just a quick second. And let's just focus on him, as you say, he said trickster, but he's the trickster. He really did everything that he said he was going to do. And that part really is amazing because a lot of people don't know that. He did everything that he said he was going to do while he was campaigning. Everything he said he was going to do, he kept his word. He said that he was going to immediately stop all the oil. He said it, and he did it. No more fracking, no more fracking. And all of the jobs that he got rid of with all the mines and all that stuff and he stopped it. He did what he said he was going to do. The irony is that the people that were mesmerized into voting for him don't see it. They don't see it at all. And that's the part that's really disturbing.
So the question I always ask to people, because I got to get back on this other thing that you're talking about when you bring that up. That's what I'm saying. I always look at whether you're real, fake, illusion. I'm looking at the ramifications because I'm sitting there saying this is the DOJ. So the DOJ is what we would call doing that. It just shows you what they can do to anybody, including gun control or anything. That's why the DOJ was saying, hey, we're going to go after parents who we might think they're domestic terrorists, but not wanting their children to know about critical race theory or LGBTQIA plus and whatever other 5 letters you can use in the near future.
Yeah.
So I would look at it like what they showed there is just political representation because it's not just about him. It's about the people in the back. That's why I said the thing with Alex Jones. What did they say? You can't use certain documents. Well, wait a minute. Who are you to tell me I can't use something? So I have the right to have an opinion or voice, just like you say you do. The only thing you want is to say your opinion is different than mine. But you want me to jump into your opinion. That way I don't have any quote unquote dissent.
So are you saying that they did not allow Alex Jones to use documentation that would have cleared him?
I think that's what he's saying.
That could very well be the case because they ran a whole kangaroo court with just the whole impeachment of former President Trump. That was nothing but a kangaroo court to take place down below in a basement where you cannot face your accuser. In one situation, couldn't face the accuser, didn't know exactly, what was going on. Their discovery was anything but. They were just looking to do a witch hunt. And, as far as Alex Jones is concerned, I will never forget him having a black eye. I will never forget that. There is no way that I will ever forget it. He had a black eye. And you and I both know that once you see that black eye on any entertainer or any person who is, doing their thing, we know what happened to them. And he's been compromised for ages.
Well, yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna say one thing about him, and I'll say this. I always looked at him more so as a, I don't know. It's kind of like this thing, that word they call him, what they call him, conspiracy theory, or something. But it's mighty funny. Just last week,
Mm-hmm.
no, 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, the UN had a PSA talking about stopping conspiracy theories. Um, we need to stop conspiracy. Never get into debate with a conspiracy theorist. Report a conspiracy theory. This is how you encounter conspiracy theory. They tell you, they ran like a PSA to tell you what to do, which meant to tell me that they about to start doing or trying to do a major crackdown.
Well, they're trying to do a major crackdown and they're turning into what we've all been saying, and that's 1984. Turn in your neighbor, turn in your friend. They're trying to indoctrinate the children so that they will later turn in their parents.
Exactly, and I
It's
feel
the same way that happened in that movie, 1984, where the little girl turned in her dad. Remember that? In
you're
the
right.
book, 1984, yeah, she did. She turned in her daddy because he talked in his sleep. Ah, he talked in his sleep and she turned him in. And so, yeah, that's where we're headed. And that movie was quite benign, and the book was quite benign compared to where we're headed. Where we're headed is a little more like the trailer Gray State was.
Yep. But let me see what you call But I always look at this as teachable moments in a big story. Now, I just want to say something, and I got to bring it up in a context.
Okay.
Now, I know we months away from the midterms, but um, one thing that got me is that this reminds me a lot of 2020. Ooh,
How so?
the pox is coming. Oh my goodness! Public health emergency. PSA. Public health emergency. Nuclear attack. Public health emergency. The pox is coming. Only thing a little bit different this time. They say it's among homosexuals. That's what they say, right? That's what they're saying right now. But then they came out the other day and said, blacks and Hispanics are disproportionately infected. Oh, this is not a gay disease. Hmm. Looks like kyphoscoliosis sarcoma to me if you look at the lesions, but that's just me talking, right? I mean, I looked at it, right? That's from back in the 80s and 90s.
Uh-huh.
But when I look at it from a perspective, when they said public health emergency, PSA, public health emergency, by the way, that means, well, I can do funding. As a matter of fact, if I want to, if you say it gets that bad, I'll get might be doing a lockdown again. Who knows,
Oh,
right?
that's on the way because the United States just did a just did the public emergency thing. That's what Biden just did not long ago. He declared the that emergency thing again already. So, and then we never left the one from COVID. And if you ask me, we never left any of the last ones before that. No one's ever lifted any of them, which is the reason why I believe they're able to degrade our human rights in such a way. Because, yeah, they never, ever, ever lifted any of them. I don't remember 9/11s being lifted. Do you?
9/11 what? Being let the public help, the public emergency?
Yeah, the state of emergency.
No, I don't think it ever did. Because you know what? It couldn't have been. Well, it couldn't have been in a way because what did they start talking about in 9/11? Threats of extremism.
Yeah, yeah. So all they're trying to do right now is just sort of harness everybody into the same game. It's like we're all going through the same game again. And you know what? Sometimes you just have to get to the place where you decide, I'm just not taking the bullish. None of the bullish. I'm just not taking any more of you guys' garbage. I just disassociate myself with a lot of stuff. You'll find a lot of times that I don't even upload on some days because I just don't have the wherewithal to store all of that, all the lies and the garbage and the rubbish that they put out. Now, because I do news, and because what I am doing is news on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day, I have to give myself some time to get away because I already know that they're doing nothing but pushing lies. Now, I tell it as a PSA, you know what I mean? I will give my opinion on certain things, but for the most part, a lot of the stuff is just propaganda. Case in point, the Mar-a-Lago story hit. When it hit, I uploaded bunches of views. Shortly after that, the next one, another story went up, you get very few views. It's because they open it up and allow certain stories to push through so that way later they can use your brain to push the rest of their narrative. Yesterday was August the 8th. That's 8/8 for
Yep.
2022. So 246. You got three sixes. 2 plus 0 is 2. Then you got 2. Then you got a 2. That's 6. All of their stuff is done by numbers. All of their stuff is done by color codes and all these other things. So I just would like to recommend that everybody take everything that you hear with a grain of salt. A grain of salt can literally heal your body, literally 1 grain. So take everything that you hear with a grain of salt and don't believe half of it. For them to ironically use the two people together that have really been sort of down under the wire is amazing. It's amazing to me. What did Trump take and put in his house? What idiot would take stuff from the White House? Who? Would you even take something from a regular job? You would never take anything from a regular job and take it to the house. And if that was the case, and if they knew it, wouldn't they have gotten him a long time ago? Wouldn't have gone? I mean, really? That's why I talked about the Emmett Till situation the way that I did earlier, because I feel like it's only convenience that you guys are willing to give this story up because you truly and honestly want to cause more dissension, which is the reason why they listen. They could have let this could have been dealt with back when they were interviewing this lady 6 or 7 years ago when it was discovered that she claimed that she knew, that she was guilty as two left shoes and that the young man did nothing to her, but she was just trying to show off. That was what she said while this person was interviewing her for her memoirs several years ago. But now they bring the story out. You could have dealt with all of Mississippi's legislature. You could have dealt with the local police department. You could have dealt with a bevy of people just to prove that the warrant was never served.
Mm-hmm.
The warrant was never served, so why would you wait until now? Well, it's because they cuff a lot of information, and a lot of that information is cuffed, so that way they can use it when they want to.
Mm-hmm. Well, then what do you think? I mean, it's kind of interesting, isn't it?
I think it's just a matter of time, and they want to continue the divide by finding out that she was not indicted. Okay, no indictment. What is that going to do? That's supposed to cause people to be angry and to be upset. I don't have anything against anybody. You're not going to bring a 70-year-old case that you should have already dealt with because it was evident if a warrant was served or not. But you're not going to bring me a 70-year-old case and expect for me to be angry at somebody or angry at a situation. Y'all knew this woman was guilty. She just sat there and said she was guilty a few years ago. That story was out. Everybody who heard that story heard it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now it's all about, oh, well, listen, they had a, the warrant wasn't served. Aren't you guys unhappy? Aren't you mad? Don't you want to protest? Heck no. I don't, because you guys are trying to set this up as a race war again. It's the same thing they did with the other gentleman, George Floyd. Same thing they did with several people. We don't have time for that. We've got too many things to be focused on. As a community, as a people, we've got far too much to be focused on.
Well, let me ask you a question. Being that we got a lot of stuff to focus on, right?
Yeah.
We always lose the focus.
Yes, we
somewhere,
do. Yes, we
somewhere
do.
in line. It's kind of like up, down, back, around. And what's that song they always that I used to like a lot? You know, well, one of the songs was TLC, "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls," and we go chase the waterfall all the time.
Yes, we do.
And it may be pretty, but it can lead you into a dangerous path. You might drown, by the way, and keep on chasing it.
And get cracked up by a few of the rocks down on your way down.
Exactly. So, and we keep on getting cracked. You know what I was looking at, Felicia, the other day?
What?
You know, we've been talking about CGI and a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, just last week, 60 Minutes had an episode of what? Deep fake technology. They actually had an episode of this.
Mm.
But because people were saying when Biden was sitting there and he wasn't blinking, they said somebody said that was a deep fake. Then they had an episode, but then they fact checked and said it wasn't a deep fake, that was really him. But at the same time, they did talk about deep fake technology that around that time. And they were
Man.
showing that you can have a body, my body basically, would put a synthetic media head on it, and you would never know it's something else.
Yeah.
So they actually had an episode of that, of how they could do this.
Mm.
So that shows me, like we always say, you don't know, basically, is this a hologram or what?
Yeah, they're a bunch of crooks. All of it's a bunch of crooks, a bunch of fakes. And the fact is that we're dealing with a race that is not our own. The majority of the people that you think you see that look like us are not. And I have become a person who believes that more and more every day. I look at a lot of the old biblical scriptures and I look at a lot of old texts that
Are
I
we
see,
talking movie Get Out?
and a lot of old biblical texts and books and things of that nature that I study. And the more that I study them, the more that I see exactly what it really truly means. It means a lot more than we think. People make jokes like, oh, a reptilian, or oh, a this, or oh, a that. These people, these are not people. Anytime you sitting here and you're not blinking, you something. You are something. I sat there and looked at this claymation face, didn't even look like him. And I'm like, this thing is not even blinking. Please, there's something not right. Something ain't right. Something is not right.
He
There's
said,
the flies in the buttermilk.
brother said, what do you know about background people?
He said, what?
He said, what do you know about background people?
What do you mean background people? You mean the people that they erase out of the background? Or the people who are the black-eyed people that walk in the background?
If he answers the question back, I'll know what he's talking about. He
Oh,
kind of
okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what he's actually he's talking about here, but he did say, what do you know about background people? He might be talking about the people behind the scenes. Not really sure, but nevertheless, I do look at it like you said, we got a lot of issues. But I was thinking about this the other day when I was out, and I realized that they've been yelling food shortages. I was in a store today. I said, dang, what's that pizza called? The Journo's pizza?
Oh, yeah, the ones you can get in the deli case at the grocers.
Well, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I was in a food line, and I happened to just be walking past. I said, let me look up and see how much this pizza cost. Dang, this little one pizza is $8.59 now. Dang, this thing used to be $5.
Wow.
Right? Bread $7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, one store I went to was like $8 or $9 for 2 loaves of bread.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is the inflation crunch has went up.
Yeah.
It's actually going up more. And
Yeah.
they can tell you, oh yeah, we got the gas price down. Don't worry about it. Don't trust them. It's probably gonna go back up. Okay, he's saying it's a theory that most of the people you see in society aren't real. They are either holograms or soulless beings generated to make it seem that society is larger than it really is. Let me put it back.
I'm not qualified to speak on it as an actual thing, but I will say this: I can believe it.
Okay, well, So I guess that's what he wants you to do. He wants you to have an open mind. That's what I like to hear. At least he gave it a thought. You know, I was talking to some people, and you talk now. Look, to tell you the truth, depending on where you're at. If I'm talking to you and Pioneer and Frank and people like that, friends of mine, and other people in society too, I I say I know one of y'all, but then when I talk to people in another world, I might be the alien or something. So I could be the alien.
Well,
If you know,
I don't think that that would be the case in this type of situation, simply because I think that a lot of those people are not people. You would always be a person. What he's describing is people that aren't people, but we
oh
think
I
they're
know,
people, but they're not. Yeah.
oh I know what he's saying. I'm just saying that the comments you get from people, right? When you tell them this, they treat you like you're not a person. They try to
Oh
isolate.
yeah. They're
That's
looking
what
at
I'm
you
trying to
like a
explain.
monkey doing a math problem.
You said what?
I said, yeah, you're right. They look at you like a monkey doing a math problem.
For example, they claim hundreds of people died, millions more. Yet we look around, don't see them, and actually see more people after the lockdown. Oh yeah, that is a good point, though. Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah, they're so criminal. They're so
But
criminal. I really don't even. I don't have anything to think about them. I think they're such criminals. Who do you have as a next guest that's coming? Do you have anybody coming on tonight? Anybody else?
I'm supposed to have Shaq and this lady from St. Louis, Missouri, but I haven't heard back from her. If not, it's okay. I mean, we talked for a long time earlier. Talked about a lot of things. We talked about the Mike Brown anniversary. We talked about corruption of leaders. And
Mhm.
let me say something to you. As a matter of fact, you had a
Sure.
big thing talking about Roe versus Wade. You talked about it when it happened. But
Yes.
I was looking at this thing from a so-called religious standpoint. See, Al Sharpton had a radio show the other day, or a TV show, right? And he said what? He said
Mm.
that the Bible represents choice, right?
Yeah.
So he tried to make that fit his argument. I don't like when people try to make their argument filled with that type of rhetoric.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. I can agree with you on that. Yeah. Yeah. I can agree with you.
But you have a certain segment of the population that will believe it.
Well, okay, so let's unpack his statement. His statement was that um, he believed that, the Bible speaks of choice. And I think that as a minister, he's accurate. We do have freedom of choice. We do. I mean, if you look at, well, we wouldn't be looking at the Adam and Eve story if there was no choice. But what he did not say, which is what he should have said as a minister, was your choice still has a payday. Whatever it is you choose, there's a payday to it. Because no matter what it is you are working at as your craft, eventually you will receive the compensation for it. So that means if you're sowing bad stuff or bad things that you're putting in the ground itself does not care what you put into it. The ground has no qualms about it. The ground's job is simply to give you back what you put in it. So whether you put in good or bad, you're going to reap that. So your choices are to either do what's right or not do what's right. But as a minister, it's not our jobs to say, well, you got a choice and then put a period there. It is, you do have a choice, but you also know that life comes from the Father. As a minister, that's what I'm supposed to say. I'm not supposed to do anything that goes opposite of the word. But you see, that's what Black folk get for considering people like him a quote unquote man of God, the true and living God. Okay. That's what people get. get in a position. I don't know. But my point is, I try to be universal as possible so people get it. But that's I
You're
call
breaking
them
up.
warlock. All of those people don't represent the creator of life. The creator of life does nothing in enmity of himself. He doesn't do anything opposite of life because he is life. Now, when a woman is pregnant and we have a spontaneous abortion, something that we did not have any choice in at all, we were okay. And then all of a sudden, the baby just left the womb. Well, there was a purpose. There was a reason. The baby shed for a reason. We didn't do anything to cause that. It happened on its own. There's a big difference. So what they're saying, oh, choice, where do we go? The Bible believes in choice. Yeah, there's a choice, but if you go out here and do wrong, you're gonna reap what you did. You say,
You're breaking up. Can't hear you. Breaking up.
can you
Yeah, but
hear
it's kind
me?
of like, yeah, it's kind of like you were breaking up for a minute there. I kind of like missed a few things.
Okay, well, I'll just put it in a nutshell if you can still hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, in a nutshell, yes, you do have a choice, but you also will reap what you sow based on the choices that you make.
Well, this is what the brother's saying. Actually, I believe as humans we have choices, but our choices are limited because our knowledge is limited. That is a good statement, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Dang, I dropped my
Yeah.
daggone light. Yeah, but he's right about that. If your choices are limited, if your knowledge is limited, he's actually 100% right there. I
And
don't know who
and so
R2D2 is, brother. Tell me who that is.
R2D2.
Yeah, he said, Slate Queen, sometimes you sound like RDD2. I don't know who that is.
Oh, I was sounding like R2D2, probably because I was cutting in and out. He's saying R2D2 from Star Wars.
Oh, now, yeah, okay, now I'm wondering. I thought, okay, got you. I was wondering what you talking about.
Yeah, R2D2.
No, it's a
Yeah,
good statement. No, it's a great statement, sir. Don't worry about it. It's a great statement, Pioneer. I
it's a
just,
great
you know,
statement. Now he was being honest. He was saying what I sound like, because I was cutting in and out.
my brother said, we'll just go back to understanding what our purpose on earth is.
I think that we are in the age of this now. We are in the age of awakening. Major portals were opened up yesterday, which was why I was surprised. I think that as each individual evolves and begins to understand purpose, it can be healing on a great degree. I believe that as you begin to understand your purpose, evolve and change according to what your purpose is, and you really made in God's image, it's exactly that you are in his image, which means that of your universe, you are a God. Of your physical body, you are a God. Okay? And you do have a God. And I hate to keep using the term God, but you understand what I mean. So yeah, I do think that it will. I think that each person does. And here's the deal. If each one of us really walked in accordance to our purpose and we were in this matrix that we're physically in and we cut out all of the stuff that's in the matrix, that is when we will begin to walk in harmony and in balance and all of that good stuff. And that's what you want. You want to walk in harmony. You want to walk in balance. You want to walk in victory. And the only way that you can do that is by shedding all I hope that makes sense.
Mm, yeah. Well, hold on. Breaking up again. I don't know what's going on here. Not sure. I don't know if they're intercepting tonight or what. They might be on one. Can you hear me?
Well, yeah, they might be. So listen, I'm gonna wrap. I'm gonna run. So that way you
No,
can
it's okay. No, it's okay.
without having these
You're
disturbances.
fine.
We're good
No, it's
now?
okay.
Okay.
No, no, it's fine. I was just letting you know that I didn't understand what was going on with the, all this, thing.
With
I didn't know
communication.
what was up. Like, sometimes YouTube they get on one. They say, "Oh, you got two good people on. Let's make it as hard for them as it can."
Oh yeah.
Like you said, it's probably the user suspects screwing with it live. I started to come back in on my phone, but it's okay. I'm not even worried about it. You know what I always say?
What?
No, she ain't gotta run off, brother. She knows that I got supposedly another show lately. Don't get all in the tizzy, brother. Now I'm just messing with you, all right. But I will say this what you said. And I know you been around a while, so Mary had a song, It's the God in Me, you know what I'm saying, right? Sometimes we
Mhm.
don't understand our own potential. And I talk to people, we need to understand our potential that is in you. Whatever you believe you can achieve, you can if you just work on it. See, we like to build ourselves on successes, but never say, damn, I failed this time, but I can do this again. Humility has to be required. And the bad part is a lot of us have no humility. Let's just face it. We don't. We don't have no humility. And as a matter of fact, over the last 2 years, especially with this COVID pandemic, you have realized how narcissists people really are. We got a lot of narcissists running around.
Yeah.
And they can hold up progress very greatly when you're trying to just say, listen to me one time. But I'm sorry. I don't want to listen to you because I had to listen to NBC or Channel 12 or this, that, and the third. But nevertheless, it's all good. You know what? If you got to receive the message, you got it. And if you didn't, hey, you don't have to listen to me, Felicia, Lockhart. You don't have to listen to nobody. I can't force you to listen to anybody. Hey, but guess what?
What?
I always say it's better you talking to me than you're not.
That's right.
So, you know, so I always say if you realize the power is invested in yourself, you can have somebody else realize the power vested in themselves, but they got to be willing to have a ear and listen to it without being, is what they say, this word they've been using a lot lately. I've been hearing people talk about it all my life. When you hold people accountable, they say you're being judgmental. Well, no, I'm not judging you saying you can't be this, but I have to let you know. See, Felicia, I always look at it. You don't hold people accountable. This is how it goes on. That's why the LGBTQ is allowed to do. When you don't hold nothing accountable, everything gets. It's kind of like you baking a cake, but you're not putting the right ingredients in. Then you put the cake in the oven, and the cake falls.
Well, you know what? I want to, because I just glanced over and saw what the comments were, and that was amazing that he put that there because I was just about to tap on the amazing potential that each human being has in them when we are born. And it's the compulsory education system that actually educates us to this world's system. It has us so afraid to even teach our own children. The values that you want your children to learn and to know should only come from you and your family, especially if you're a normal person and you out here tripping and hurting people and not being responsible and all this other stuff. But if you can see the value in your children and your offspring, then you will want to make sure that you are their teacher, that they're learning life lessons from you and gaining friendships with people of like mind. That's the reason why, if we look and we go back into the way that things should be, we should only be associated with people of like mind. We shouldn't be associated with people who don't have a healthy environment. I'm not saying that we don't deal with people who may have a differing opinion. I'm saying that if you are attempting to live your life above reproach, then you need to surround yourself with people like that while you are homeschooling and teaching your children then your friends and the family members that are around your children need to look exactly like the life that you want to live. As an adult, you can still have friends who have differing opinions, but you just don't want to have your children raised up in a situation that indoctrinates them to a system that ends in doom. All they teach is fear, 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 fear. Have you ever noticed that a child will get up on the top of something and jump down? And you're like, man, you get scared. You're like, oh, no, no, no. Come down, baby. Come down, baby. But that baby don't know no fear. They can get up on the second step and jump down. Like my little grandson, he can get up on the second step, he'll jump down. He'll go up to the third step, he'll jump down. He'll get to the fourth step, and he keeps going until he sees where his sort of own personal barrier is, and then he'll stop. But you know what? The problem today is we don't allow enough kids to fall down and bust their heads. The reason why you have a lot of people in our age category, or in my age category, for example, that are fearless is because we dropped and hurt ourselves and got back up and kept going. And, we, as we were racing and, running in different races or whatever. I remember one time I was in a race. All I ran was long distance. And I remember I went around a curve, a gravel curve. When I went around that gravel curve, I hit and skipped my knee terribly. I still have the mark now. It actually keloided over. But I got back up in the race and I kept running. I came in second, but at least I kept going. I didn't do like a lot of kids now. Down for the count. She's out. She's out. Medic, medic, get somebody to help her. It wasn't like that. I fell down. I was in like the 8th grade. I fell down. I got my rump back up and I kept going. We were running the mile, and that's what happened.
Let me bring that to you. Hold on for a minute. Let me say this. That was an excellent point, Felicia, because I had a conversation one time about this. And we got to understand, fear is probably one of the biggest emotions that we have. But guess what? It's false evidence appearing real. Or whatever, But that's how I look at it. But here's the deal. Fear will make you do things that you not naturally inclined to do. And that's why, I had a conversation with somebody and they said, well, what are you afraid of? I said, nothing. They said, well, aren't you human? Yeah, I respect nature. I'm cautious. I know not to walk in a fire that's not going to burn my ass, but I'm not scared of the fire. I'm using caution, right? Now, here's the deal. You see, this happened with a woman one time. It happened a couple times, actually. Well, if you can't tell me your fears, well, maybe I shouldn't be involved with you. I said, but I can always come back and say, well, if you got a man that tell me he's scared of stuff, then is that the man you want to protect you? So I could always come back.
Well, no, I ain't got to come back at all. What I would have told if I was you, I would have been like, let me move out the way so you can go head on and get fear. Get Mr. Fearful, and I'll move out your way. I'm going to move out your way, go head on and get Mr. Fearful. Because here's the deal. I don't have to operate in fear.
That's right.
I do not have to operate in fear to make you feel good about yourself. You want me to feel vulnerable. You want me to be vulnerable so that you can take advantage. Because the only thing or only entity that will want you to be in fear is one that looks to pounce on you. That's right. If you are in the wild, do you think that animals in the wild go and get the bold ones? No, they go and get the timid, weak, and fearful ones. So all that chick is saying is, I need you to be vulnerable so that I can jack you up real good. So no, ma'am, you need to keep it pushing because I'm not going to be the one that you are going to attack. The only reason why you would want me to be vulnerable is so that you can later pounce. Do I look like a dove? Do I look like a chicken? All of the animals that are in the wild that are crossbred animals, those are the ones that are docile and stupid. Look at a cow. A cow won't move at all. That is a crossbred animal. That thing ain't going to move. You can go up and scare the heck out of it. It's going to sit right there unless it's fire. Well, then, of course, they know they're going to move.
A sheep do the same thing. He don't move neither.
Yeah, well, see, the deal is that, well, see, if you look at the sheep that's the reason why you have a shepherd over the sheep. That is the reason why you have the shepherd over the sheep. Okay?
That's right. Now, I always say, Felicia, that's why I said you
The
understand.
sheep. Say,
But you
yeah.
understand these things, right? And that's why I said that
Uh-huh.
sometimes we get, you know, so like I said, we can be narcissistic, but we also can we're not using reality. Think about this, and I'm gonna let you go in a few minutes. Let's think about this. Remember at the onset, oh, what they say? We won't want you to use coins anymore because the virus could be on the coins, or if the monkeypox could be on the coin. Well, wait a minute now. Hold on now. Wait a minute. Walmart open. Amazon. Oh, y'all were essential, right? He was essential. Hmm. Interesting. But guess what? Walmart just laid off 200 corporate employees. So are you essential now? I'm just asking, man.
Mm,
So
okay.
essential only mean when I say something. First of all, let's get this right. Ain't nobody, ain't no job unessential. The fact that you here on this earth mean you essential. Period. All other stuff is secondary. Period. So I don't even have to hear the rest of this stuff. So that's my take on it. So that's how when they start classifying that, that's what I'm talking about. But we gotta that may have went over some people's head, not probably here, but it might go over some people's head out in the world though. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I do. I do.
But
Well, it's been great being here. I'm gonna get
yes,
off
ma'am.
because I'm just pulling the boys from their football practice, and they're just now coming back. I'm in the car, so I'm gonna go on ahead and get them to the house and get them in showers and feed them. But I want to tell you how much I appreciate you, how much I appreciate everything that you do. You are a source of wealth. You are a source of information. You are the go-to guy. You are the go-to guy. And I'm gonna tell you something. I want to do a show. I want to do a show with you where it's just you and I, and we can do something weekly. We can do it on the Lockhart perspective, and then you can come on over and we can just hang
The
out
name
once
that
a week.
you're a football mom.
Oh, I am. My boys, we here in Alabama, and my boys, they're the truth. I got a little bitty one who is the truth. The little
Monique
bitty one, he
TC says essential worker means worker bees.
hey, Monique 2C, how you doing? Good to see her. She's a sweet woman. She is a sweet girl. She
Yes, she
really
is.
is. Well, I appreciate you so much, and I just want to give you your flowers and just tell you what an awesome person that you are, and you're just a wealth of information, and I so appreciate you. And anytime you want me to come back, you let me know. I thank you for opening up an invitation for me tonight. You take care of
Yes, ma'am.
yourself, and you could be blessed.
You take your time. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Okay, darling. Okay,
Y'all
bye
have a
bye.
good night.
You too. Bye bye.